Let us put against each other two of the best smart and gesture-controlled web cameras. The Obsbot Tiny 4K versus Insta360 Link. Which is the better one and why? Let's find out. Smart, compact and with remarkable image quality. These are among the top features that I can think of when checking those two amazing web cameras. So on one side we have the brand new Insta360 Link, and on the other hand we have the Obsbot Tiny. That's the 4K edition. Really good to meet you and welcome here to the channel where we inspect a lot of fresh and cool tech. I'm Michael, and this video is sponsored by Insta360. They might get to see the episode prior to its official release for technical accuracy, but I do keep my right to tell you all the positives but also the negatives about both products. So these are web cameras, but they do have added value thanks to their gesture control and AI capabilities. In this video, we want to figure out which is the better one. Therefore, we're going to compare these main categories: design and build quality. We're also going to take a look at the hardware, especially the image sensor and the optics and their real-life performance. We're going to take a look at the gesture controls and the AI capabilities, the software features, the audio quality, and of course the price. And all of that we're going to make in order to find out which of these is the better web camera. As a starter, let us focus on the obvious. Design and build quality are somewhat similar because both devices share the idea of having a solid basis as well as a PTZ implementation. The Link by Insta360 being a bit newer, and of course Obsbot Tiny, which we have since last year. Therefore, I think the firmware there is much more mature. Although, even at this early stage of just having been released, I can't really think of any drawbacks on the firmware inside the Insta360 Link. Both units share the concept and the idea of integrating PTZ, the pan-tilt zoom feature, and think of them as a camera with a gimbal integrated into one single body controlled by AI software. Here, Insta360's Link model has the edge about size, being notably smaller, but also notably lighter. Not only that, but the Link model has its clip mount integrated, while there's a separate unit you need to mount on the Obsbot Tiny. There is a 2-axis gimbal on it, giving you decent freedom of movement, but the extra third axis on the Insta360 Link device is clearly a huge advantage, letting you easily switch between different aspect ratios. Size, weight, build quality, even subjectively the look and the feeling, this is around where the new Link device really shines. Next, we move on to the comparison with the image quality, and that's probably my favorite round because, well, on the channel I test so many devices that can actually point and shoot, like smartphones or action cameras or even dash cams. Now, two different modules integrated, and we're going to very closely inspect the video quality of both. The Insta360 Link relies on half-inch image sensor, therefore the expected image quality is pretty high. On the other hand, Obsbot Tiny has a slightly smaller image sensor inside, which is 1 by 2.8 inches, and you probably know the theory that the larger the image sensor, the more light is going to reach each individual pixel, which theoretically again should give us better image quality. But I guess we could give a verdict after we see some more samples. The biggest difference is notable at dark, where the smaller image sensor inside the Obsbot device needs to use higher ISO in order to balance the image, and this is how we notice a lot more noise. Low light and dynamic range performance are indeed among the big strengths for the Link model. I couldn't get any confirmation from Insta360 which is the exact image sensor behind these bright optics, but if I have to make a blind educated guess, most likely IMX586, but I repeat, it's just my own guess. Well, if that's the case, this is an image sensor used by many smartphones and there's broad experience about using it, therefore no surprise that the image quality is that good, and also it does support HDR mode. With HDR mode on, the darker areas are being lit up and you may receive an overall much better image. So I think we've collected enough of evidence to give a second round in favor of Insta360 Link. The extra features and the AI capabilities for these webcams are also pretty interesting, Both units can track you, mostly your face. They can recognize some gestures so that you can zoom in or out and do some other fancy stuff. Reaction times have been similar and comparable. Whatever Obsbot can do is being covered by Insta360 Link. The latter one, however, has a handful of extra features thanks to its design and firmware. There's the so-called whiteboard mode. It can be activated by these leading clips. Just mark the area which you want to be used as a whiteboard and the camera is going to understand you. There also is the overhead mode, which I use quite often for my unboxing videos. A good moment to showcase maybe the most awesome desk camera stand ever. It's an extra accessory and is worth every single penny you spend on it. It could be used for a desk lamp as well or whatever your imagination figures out. The desk view mode is similar, just facing downwards by 45 degrees, doesn't require much of preparation. And of course we have a portrait mode. Think of TikTok or maybe doing some telcos where you want to have much better camera than the selfie camera on your smartphone. By the way, although not officially announced by Insta360, the Link can be recognized by smartphones and works pretty well. I hope someday there's gonna be a dedicated software for that too. So, when it comes to just gestures, we can notice parity between both, but the few extra modes and accessories contribute to yet another round in favor of Insta360 Link. The next topic is about software, and here I mean the software that you install on your computer. If you use an Obsbot device, it's called Tiny Cam, and if you use the Insta360 Link, it's called the Link Controller software. Both are good. Graphic user interfaces on both are really nice, functional. Here I'm going to focus more on the Insta360 Link Controller software because that's a fresher release. If you want to get to know more about Obsbot Tiny Cam, then just Google around because there's plenty of information about it already. So, both devices are being supported by both macOS and Windows, and I'm going to make the demo here on Windows operating system. The main screen is about showing you the image in real time. You can switch it on or off, take a screenshot or go into portrait mode. 3 possible resolutions. The first tab on the right area is for the gimbal control. A genius idea is to keep presets of certain angles so that you can preserve a mode for your laptop, for your desktop and one for the smartphone, for instance. Although, to configure the angle, all that it takes is just to manually hold the camera in the preferred position for a few seconds and keep it. The second tab is about the image features. Yes, advanced controls of everything. Exposure compensation, contrast, sharpness, saturation. Most of these settings are great at their auto values. But, in case you need to look black and white, it's a few clicks away. The last tab is the most interesting one, fine-tuning of the gestures or entirely switching them off. There also is the AI zoom feature, which I so much recommend over the basic zoom gesture at this point. Anti-flicker mode and tracking speed are configurable, but you can leave the defaults if you're happy with the performance. There is HDR mode in 4K and an option to mirror the image and the usual firmware-related settings. Both of the units have firmware updates from time to time. Obsbot have already provided a few this year. Insta360 are known for their exceptional work on fixing bugs and presenting improvements, so I have no doubts that both cameras are going to have bright future, but given the so many advanced configuration options, plus my favorite feature, the 4K recording, I think once again we can reward Insta360 Link for being the winner. Good. Now the point is to try out the audio quality, meaning the inbuilt microphones, as well as the responsiveness when it comes to shooting, and I can already notice that Insta360 Link is adapting much quicker than the Obsbot Tiny. And now switching to Insta360 Link to find out how its microphone performs, and of course keep in mind that the closer you are to the microphone, the less echo is going to be picked from the room, and this is not a very well soundproof room. And obviously if you go further away from the camera, there's going to be more echo picked up. So 2 questions now, and I'd love you to help here. Which of both has the better audio quality, and which of both has the better video quality? Comment below, please. Price-wise, this is the least subjective part because numbers won't lie. $269 versus $300. So here's the win for the Obsbot Tiny 4K. So now it's obviously the time to conclude which of these has the overall better value. And having tested them in so many different environments, I would root for the Insta360 Link device. It is smaller, feels better to the touch. I think it has better build quality. It's lighter than Obsbot Tiny. It has an integrated stand. It has a larger image sensor inside, which provides better overall video quality, supports HDR mode, a few extra shooting modes. I think the AI capabilities are a bit better. It does support vertical mode, which probably for TikTokers is gonna be a bliss, and has much nicer accessories, costing between 30 and 40 bucks more than the Obsbot Tiny 4K. In my opinion, that's a no-brainer, probably the best PTZ implementation for around 300 bucks that you can buy right now in 2022. So feel free to agree or disagree with me, and we can carry on the conversation in the comments right below. Also, in the video description, I'm gonna post a link to the product and some more information about how you can support the channel. And if you enjoy the video, you can subscribe for more cool tech inspections. I'm Michael, been such a pleasure, and I really hope what you've seen so far has been useful. Wishes for a fantastic day, and see you in the next episode. Bye.